Fantastic. In 1876, the Rhone was harboured in Great Harbour, Peter Island. That way. And the captain was showing there. The reason for that, they were supposed to go to the United States Virgin Islands to pull into the harbour there. But when they got there was a big yellow flag flying, which means yellow fever. So they couldn't go. There was an outbreak at the time. So they were harboured in the wrong place. All right, but just sitting there relaxing, waiting to be cleared into the port. And they were actually tied up alongside their sister ship. Captain Woolley was the captain of the Rhone, and Captain Hammock was the sister ship's captain. And they were next to each other, having a chat, swapping stories, having a cup of tea probably. The weatherman on board, the new cool innovation was they had a full-time weatherman, not just a guy who had other duties, but they had a full-time meteorological officer to do all their stuff. And he noticed the barometer had dropped. I believe it was somewhere around the region. It had dropped 26.7 degrees when he took it to the captain. Everyone come under the shade, it's going to rain a bit. So he goes to the captain and says, "Captain, the barometer's dropped. I'm a bit worried there might be a storm coming," because it wasn't hurricane season. The captain said, "Don't worry about it. I've been doing this route for 6 years. I know what I'm doing. We're going to sit here. I'm going to have a tea, maybe with a splash of rum in it, out into the ocean and ride out the hurricane." He reasoned this ship had been built to do this. It had a boiler, lots of engine power and sail power, an experienced crew. Okay. Whereas the sister ship went back this way and ended up being washed ashore with no loss of life. The Rhone was going right there, aiming for that big wide open space and expanse over there. So we are back at Peter Island at the harbour. He steams out. It starts to rain. There's grey skies. See, look.
Just like this.
You're doing good.
I'm doing good. Anna phoned up before we left.
Very good.
Excuse me, would like something a little bit dramatic.
Yeah.
Not too bad. But
All we need now is like a...
Don't say that.
No, there's clear sky over there. So, anyway, we steam out, and it starts to get a bit like the weather over there. You see, you can't see a lot. It's a bit cloudy. Closes in, so the captain, he knows where he's going. He's been here a lot of time. He's got an experienced navigator. He's coming steaming around. He's trying to make it round without hitting any of the islands. Okay. And he starts coming through this passage. The waves are big now, really big. The ship's moving a lot. Not a lot of people could swim in those days. Okay. So the captain, in his wisdom, ordered them tied to their bunks. Okay. To stop them getting flung around their cabins or falling off the sides of the ship. Didn't work out so well. The waves are so strong that as the boat's steaming, full steam, it's going like this. And this is after they lost their anchor over there, trying to put their anchor down. There's a dive site actually by Great Harbour, the Rhone Anchor and Chain. It's got 2 dive balls on it. They put their anchor down to try and raise the anchor to get out of the way of the storm. It got caught and it snapped the chain. And if you've seen how big this ship is, the links were about this big. One link is about that big. It snapped, they had to ditch it. So they're steaming this way with no anchor at full speed, flank speed, as fast as they can go. Probably even faster, because the guys underneath are going to be shoveling really fast. It would be more scary, I think, underneath, inside the boat than on the bridge.
Exactly.
And as they're coming this way, a wave hits the ship and washes Captain Woolley overboard. He's never seen again.
Oh.
He was gone. Completely gone. In an instant, first mate takes over. Probably not ready in a storm that big. But what they don't know is Black Rock's here and they're drifting in really slowly this way. They think they're going straight. They can't even see the island. From this distance to there, they can't see that far. You can probably see each side of the ship, maybe not even that far. And what happens is, it's also night time, which is brilliant.
It's at night, huh?
But even if it was daytime, it would have been like you couldn't even see through it, you know. So what happens is the Rhone is getting closer and closer and closer. They think, from the guys that survived, that there was still a guy in the crow's nest. He was probably tied in, and he saw the rock, shouted a warning. Straight in, steaming with the bow pointing out to sea this way. It hit the rocks and it cracked in the middle, which is unfortunately where the boiler is. Okay, so the ship is split, the boiler is split, and the thousands of tons of water that kind of just sucked in there, they caused it to explode. The hot boiler and the cold water, massive explosion, 300, maybe a little more. One passenger survived by swimming out of his waterhole. He could swim. He's called Luigi Giuseppe, Italian guy, swam out and held on to some wreckage with some of the crew members. I think it was all of the crew members, or was 22 survived out maybe 30, and the captain was lost by clinging to wreckage, luckily getting washed up on Salt Island behind us. So they were washed up. Luigi Giuseppe survived, everybody else went down in their cabins. Alright. Then the people on Salt Island heard a massive explosion when the boiler went. It was so loud, over the sound of a Category 5 hurricane, you could hear it in Roadtown, which is just there. You could hear that explosion over there. The natives in Salt Island couldn't come out in the hurricane because they may have got blown off the hill running over from the salt mine which was over there. They came over the next day and they recovered the survivors, looked after them until the first aid was summoned, and they actually managed to get a lot of the stuff that was floating around and collect it and give it back to the Queen, who basically it was her property,